Electron app building, deploying, and publishing guidelines. Build and package using Electron Builder. So the Electron Builder is pretty much a complete toolset to package and build your Electron application to a specific target machine as an executable, plus it also generates cross-platform configured installers. So Electron Builder is actually a full solution for deploying and packaging your Electron-based applications. It is easy to use, open source, and it has tons of features that all you need for dealing with Electron apps. For deploying your application, you need to make sure you are using a reliable building toolchain in order to make sure users will have a smooth installation experience on their machines. It's very important to notice that Electron Builder is actually having a lot of targets, so it depends on your machine you want to specify or all across platform. And why using Electron Builder? It ships pretty much with a lot of out-of-the-box nice features and elegant features and functionalities. First, it pretty much has a native package compilation process done automatically behind the scenes on the Electron Builder. The automatic code signing on your server and CI tools. Auto updates out of the box, so it pretty much supports auto updates, so you can easily deploy your application with auto updates ready server. Different installer types for different platforms, so you can have different targets for either Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux. All of those different type of installers can be packaged up with a single Electron Builder software, all in one and all in toolchain. And the only production needed dependencies are packaged, so your development dependencies, you don't really need to specify anything, just run the command line interface or run the script, and the dependencies are going to be managed automatically by Electron Builder without your need to specifically say that. So here's the Electron Builder page, or the main web page for Electron Builder, which is a complete solution, as we've said, for distributing your Electron applications on different machines. It has all of these nice features and elegant building processes and all the configurations it has. So there's actually two. You can use the programmatic app API or even the command line interface, the CLI, to build your applications. You can even take a look on the CLI and how it works. And it is super simple to install this, either using Yarn or using npm on your project and add it up. So just do Yarn add Electron Builder and make sure to save it as a development dependency, because it's super important to do that, and Electron Builder gonna notice this. So here's actually our application. I've got here the build script. So inside of tasks folder, I've created a build script. This script is gonna be, responsible for building our Electron application. Instead of using the CLI, I decided to use the script in here. So putting the configuration up there, and we are using pretty much the builder to build that. It takes the target. We are using Windows and we create it using NSYS. So we just specify this, depends on your platform. Either you want to build for Mac OS X or Linux. So you need to specify the platform in here and create the target you want to use. Then you pass it in the configuration reference that we have just created for our building process. It pretty much returns a promise, so either you can console log successfully on the then catch, or either catch an error. If there's any errors, you can just log it to the console without any issues and problems. So the configuration in here has actually an app ID, which represents the unique app ID, reversed domain app ID name, so com.ipnews. Your application name, for example, or something like this. First, we actually the domain name, then a company name. Here, the product name represents the full product name or the official application name that's going to be installed and distributed to the users. So you need to make sure to put these details right for, if you're seriously looking up to distribute and package up your application. And there's also the directories objects, which, specifies the app's web path inside of the build folder. So the build folder in here is going to have the final build for our application and where everything is going to be put. So you can just specify that, or you can give it a relative path to the current directory to work with. By default, it is going to be put on the build if you don't specify anything anyway. So this configuration object in here can be also put inside of the package.json if you wish to use the command line interface instead of the programmatic scripts that you have just created. So you can just copy paste that. There's actually a configuration object in here inside of the build objects. You can do pretty much the same thing. You put the target, the directories, Then you can specify actually some configurations for your target installer, which we will be looking at in the next video tutorial, how you use it. Well, this one, if you put it in here and use either the script or the CLI, you're going to be first looking at the pack.json script in here or object configuration, and it's going to build from it first. So it's better to use the scripts because, the API is deprecated and the next version is going to be removed. So it's way much better to use the script rather than using the CLI, but that just completely depends on your needs. Here for the build scripts that allows actually to build, we are setting Electron Builder allow and resolve dependencies to true. So Electron Builder pretty much can know that when it finds an unresolved dependency like a node binary dependency, it just ignores it and it warns us about it, but it doesn't crash or stop the execution. Then we can run the task or the build.js using node itself. So that's simply what we're doing in here. We're just referencing the tasks build.js, and then we run it, and it's going to do the job for it perfectly for us. So if you notice there, there's also this pre-build script, which uses actually Webpack to pre-build that. So we can go, start the rendering process, and remember everything in here is going to be packaged up using Webpack. And all the configuration here we've had, like the distribution folder is going to be the test folder. So make sure to run actually the script before you run the final build scripts, because Electron Builder is going to package up our files. So we need to make sure that we get the final production ready files for Webpack. So make sure to run this in parallel. First run the pre-build, then you can actually, after finishing the pre-build process, you can run the current command. So ensure to put this command behind this and put the end to make sure that the pre-build happens before the building process takes place. It pretty much happens the same thing if you want to put the CLI objects in here. So you just need to make sure that everything is in place and you run the pre-build before that. You can do this manually though, but it's better to do that in here for, sometimes you get wrong and everything goes wrong. So here we can run the build process just by running the build command. The script is going to be running, but before that, Webpack first is trying to compile our code or our JavaScript code into one single minified bundle. So we've got to wait for this a little bit to take place because it has actually a production ready mode. So yeah, this is actually an official production build. And after actually Webpack has been finished, the second is going to take place is actually Electron Builder. So the builder is going to start building and it's going to collect some information from your configuration objects. They're going to show you a couple of meta information like the out directory and the platform architecture and the Electron version, what we use in 5.0. So all of those are informations about the collected current machine as well as the configuration that you've used or choose. And everything is going to be put inside of the build folder in here. So you can clearly see you can get all the files. So starting off from the setup.exe file, which pretty much represents the actual installer for your application. It appends to it the version name by default. And there is also a folder called Win Impact. So this folder in here, what it does have, it actually has all the impacts, like Windows resources and everything, like the application.asr and everything inside of that, it impacts it for you. So this is how your user is going to get. So once he installed, you're going to get the Win Impacts folder. Everything is in there. All the dependencies of your application are going to be put in there. For the icon, here we've got a simple icon. So if you specify a custom icon for your application installer and your current application official installer, so you pretty much need to put it inside of icon.iko, make sure the extension matches ICO, and pretty much it's going to automatically pick that up and make sure to put it inside of the build folder. So if you take a look on the Win Impact folder, you're going to find all the information that you need, and if you need missing deals and checking out how the environment works, you can just go ahead and take a look on your application by running the simple Electron application.exe, and everything should be looking pretty much fine. And there's also the builder.yaml, which has some a little bit of information about application, the build process. So later on, if you try to rebuild it, it's just going to use the YAML to extract some information from it. You can even take a look on the Explorer and how it looks like in here.